Hi there, this is Tej from TaxAssist Accountants in Leicester and Syston, and I hope you're all well. And I'm just going to talk to you about a couple of tax reliefs which affect the rental market. So if you're a landlord, please pay attention because this could be important information for you. Now, there are a couple of reliefs which are changing from April 2020 onwards. Firstly, there's lettings relief. So that's basically a relief where if you've ever lived in the property but you rent it out and are now looking to sell, you get a form of relief against capital gains tax. Now, from April 2020, that relief is disappearing. So that's going to have an impact if you're selling your property, like I said, that you've let out, that you lived in at some point. After April 2020, that relief is going, and it's going to have a major impact on the amount of capital gains tax that you're potentially liable for. The other relief is what they called deemed occupation relief, and again, that's where you've lived in it, you've let it out for certain periods. The last 18 months is deemed as basically not chargeable for capital gains tax purposes. And again, that's changing from April 2020 because that's being chopped to 9 months instead of 18 months relief. The best thing is if I just give you an example. I did a Landlords and Investors evening recently, and I've got a couple of the slides from there. So I'm just going to show you them and basically talk you through the example, and hopefully it'll make more sense. You'll have to bear with me because I can't read from the screen because it's backwards. So I'm having to refer to my notes on the side, but I'll show you the screen slides. So there you go. So that's the example. So from April 2020, as I mentioned, lettings relief will only be available for shared occupancy with a tenant, and lettings relief for deemed occupation will be cut to 9 months from 18 months. So next slide up. Hopefully you can see that. So basically, the example is John buys a home, he lives in it for 2 years, then moves back in with his mother, renting out the property for the remaining 8 years up to the sale. The disposal gain is 100,000, so basically he makes a profit of 100,000 on the property. Under the current rules, as I said, the gain is 100,000. The PPR is 2 years. That's basically where he lived in it himself, so those years aren't counted towards any capital gains tax. And also the last 18 months, as we mentioned, is relieved as well, so that he gets that as well. He gets the lettings relief, which is a smaller of 3 figures, which I'm not going to go into, but it's 35,000. So the chargeable gain for capital gains tax purposes is £30,000. So hopefully that makes sense. Moving on to the example. Now this is the same example, but it's after the changes, after April 2020. So basically, in this example, like I said, the gain is still the same, it's still 100,000. And he still gets the 2 years PPR relief, but he only gets 9 months deemed occupation relief instead of the 18 months because that's been chopped in half. But the lettings relief disappears completely, altogether. So basically his capital gain, or that he's going to potentially pay tax on, is 72,500, whereas before it was 30,000. So obviously he's going to be paying a lot more tax. So those are the 2 changes that are going to have the most impact for landlords. And basically, if you have got a property, you rented it out at some point, you lived in it at some point, and you're looking to sell it, it may be an idea to sell it before April 2020. Otherwise, you'll be hit with this loss of lettings relief. Obviously, there are other factors in play. It's not just you can't just take the example of a simple property, because you might have other tax reasons and tax affairs and factors that affect the decision. But that is something to think about if you are thinking of selling a rental property. If you need more information, please get in touch. TaxAssist Accountants, Leicester, and in Syston. Look us up on the web and get in touch, and we can help you plan your properties and any other property related tax issues, we can help with those as well. So get in touch and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.